Welcome back to A Considerate Life. As always, if you like the video, then give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, then subscribe. Today's video is going to be a very short one on when media becomes pathetic.
I see what you mean. That's pathetic. That's pathetic.
And to this, we're going to turn to a quotation from Walter Dean at the American Press Institute. So Dean says, "The impartial voice employed by many news organizations, that familiar, supposedly neutral style of news writing, is not a fundamental principle of journalism. Rather, it is an often helpful device news organizations use to highlight that they are trying to produce something obtained by objective methods. An implication is that this neutral voice, without a discipline of verification, creates a veneer covering something hollow. Journalists who select sources to express what is really their own point of view and then use the neutral voice to make it seem objective are engaged in a form of deception. This damages the credibility of the craft by making it seem unprincipled, dishonest, and biased." Okay, many of us have a sense of the political polarization of the news media that has just escalated over the last, say, 7 or 8 years, especially. Now, if we look at this rhetorical triangle of Aristotle, he says that to persuade, you should have 3 things. The logos is the logical reasoning of the position. The ethos is the perceived credibility of the speaker. And then the pathos is the emotional connection that one has with one's audience. Now, if we remove the logical reasoning, if we remove the perceived credibility, then all we're left with is pathos. This actually occurred to me under Trump's presidency when they were talking about, I think it was NBC or ABC, they were talking about the crisis at the border. And all of the information that they were given was heavily overladen with images and evocative music. And really, by the end of about 5 or 6 minutes, I thought, what the hell is going on at the border? And why isn't Trump doing anything about it? And then as I started pressing into a variety of news sites, I realized that the original story that I'd been given was highly slanted, not very well documented, and the conclusions that they made were pretty radical based on the evidences that they were giving. And so if that happens over and over again, all that's left is for the media to try and drive a emotional connection with their audience, largely via fear or anger or hatred. And so this is why I say that when a media source has lost their perceived credibility, when their arguments no longer make sense and they're untethered from reality, we talked about that a little bit when we talked about why the left will eat itself, then the only thing that's left is for them to literally become pathetic, to use pathos solely to maintain a connection with their audience. So I thought that was just an interesting observation, and that is 3 of 3 political or cultural political commentaries. Now, next time I post will be in the new year, and so this channel will go back to the kind of content and tone that you've expected and hopefully come to enjoy. And in this next video, what we're going to talk about starting the new year is notions of time and eternity as they emerge from the Old and the New Testament. So as we're thinking about starting the new year, I want us to be contemplative about time and eternity. So we'll talk about that next time.